The following is a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. The subject is the emotional aspect of the root chakra in Libra, dated 19th of October 2020. Me. Today I read in a comment that said that the information I share in these conversations is functional to the system that enslaves us. What do you think? I am. Why should I have an opinion? Me. Because I consider it important to clarify many of the concepts or ways in which we communicate, since sometimes it can lead one to think that one is defending the system so that it remains as it is. I am. I can't have an opinion on things. That's your job. Me. Because? I am. The I am is. It cannot be positioned in any vision. The self is the only one that can do such a thing. Me. So from the I am, there cannot be a position regarding anything specific? I am. The I am is the center. It is the only possible position. It is the descriptive one, the one that looks at all the points. The I is the one that travels through the different positions, the one that can take sides in something. I can only help you understand it from a neutral point of view and try to be as objective as possible. Me. The further we go, I think there will be more and more politicized issues where I will take a specific position. I am. And I'll be here to remind you that it's just one more. Me. And if so, then, for example, when people ask me to take a stand on something, what should I do? I am. First, you have to think if that position is your position. Humans polarize everything, perhaps because they have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands. Not everything is 2 positions. Me. Sometimes it seems that if you're not on one side, it's because you're on the other. When I talk about the systems and their necessity, they think that I am in favor of the current systems. If I talk like yesterday about the feminine and masculine, the idea can immediately come out that if I do not position myself as a feminist, then I am a sexist. Being politically correct is exhausting. I am. You are a pendulum, which, focused on opposites, is not seeing the mandala it has created. Me. Being politically correct, is it correct? I am. If you want to get out of the center, yes. Being politically correct is a very obvious quality of Libra energy. Trying not to offend anyone means giving up a little bit of yourself in order to think like others and be accepted. Politics is the art of communicating what the city asks for. From the Greek polis, city, and oikos, which means related to. Politics, then, is the art of philosophical discourse that pleases the majority of people. What groups, what generates ideologies, that fight each other in the parliament or in the street. Political speeches are the embodiment of a collective will. However, that a collectivity manifests a will does not mean that it arises from the essence, from the axis. It is often said that the people are right. Now, imagine that you are a father. Your son, people. At 6-year-old, he throws a tantrum because he wants sweets. Only sweets, no healthy food. You, father, state, tell him no. So the town, son, organizes an assembly in which he gathers other children between 5 and 8 years old to ask for sweets democratically. Then bipartisanship appears. Mom, government, and dad, state. Sometimes one or sometimes the other they will give in, giving sweets to the children. Papa state and mama government begin to win the love of their children, the more sweets they manage to give them. Thus, democracy ends up becoming a paternalistic system in which the people are the children who complain and ask for sweets, and the parents forbid or give depending on the day. The children of the people will love one or the other more, depending on the prize received. Whoever gives the people the greatest incentive will receive the most love. Then, the children of the town realize that they do not need more than to complain. Me. Awful. I am. It is called the social system. You have created it for lack of love. Me. So what you're saying is that the system we have today of struggle, rewards, strikes, voting, all that is the same as a conflict of mom, dad, and children? I am. Objectivity hurts. The people are based on the law of attraction, denying the law of manifestation. Me. How would that be? I am. Both laws have two faces, one conscious, directed by mental logic, and the other unconscious, directed by emotional illogic. Both are useful, since while the second mobilizes, the first orders what has been moved. One without the other does not work, they are a whole. However, you cannot use them separately or this will cause problems. Let's start with the law of attraction. Humans usually apply this universal law from the unconscious, that is, by an emotional impulse that is summed up in the word I want, arising from a concept of need. The lack of something, scarcity, conflict, rupture, crisis, all these concepts generate a need to fill in the empty space, sometimes from a real need and others from an invented and imaginary need. It is understood, then, that attraction is the ability to intentionally desire something, making its appearance possible. I want a car, and if you ask hard, the universe will conspire for you to have a car. From the unconscious, thinking that this is so leads to indebtedness, to the emptying of energy, because instead of generating, I attract. It's like asking for a loan from the bank that you will have to repay, paying interest. I asked for 100 to buy a shirt. I'm happy to put on the shirt because I consider it mine. But in the long run, I'll have to return 110 to the bank. And if I'm late with the payment, it will go up 111, 112, and so on. In this way, like a bank, it's like the pulse of the universe works, with interest. The very word says so. Everything in the universe demands that we put energy, that we exchange. Therefore, whoever applies the law of attraction from the unconscious. Me. How would this look in society? I am. The village boy asks his parents for sweets. His parents tell him, sure, but for each sweet you must eat a broccoli. The more candy you order, the more broccoli you need to eat. The more chocolate you look for to bring out the flavor of broccoli, the more of it you will find on your plate. This is what social struggles do in a paternalistic system. Both the mother and the father decide on the child because the child is irresponsible. And then the parents, also irresponsible, use their old methods of reward and punishment in archaic actions. The child blames the parents for putting them through this, and the parents do what they think is best for their children, even though they are doing everything wrong. When a social struggle arises, the conflict is usually projected on the parents, just as everyone does in their lives. The problem is mom, this comes from my dad. And thus the ideas of traumas are created, of seeking to heal the ties with the parents, since they have projected all evils on them. The same with the state and the government. Me. So, what is the way out? I am. The law of attraction applied from consciousness. The attraction works by magnetism. Attracting, as the word says, is the ability to pull, that is, to be pulled by the force of something. Attraction would be, then, being pushed towards me. To obtain said expected result, I must first become the expected, that is, by the law of resonance. Real attraction does not work without the law of resonance. How would it be? Well, the flower must generate attractive colors to attract bees and thus be able to pollinate. The flower does not wish and wait. It acts. It enters the resonance capable of shining in such a way that it can be seen by the bee. Socially, this means becoming what is expected without pretending that it is dad and mom who give it. The conflict of the law of attraction is that we project in life the same thing that we obtained in the first years of living it. Dad and mom will become the government, the bosses, everything that imposes reward and punishment on us. Thus, when they tell you that you are functional to the system, they are not seeing a fundamental part, that no matter what you do in your life, you will always be functional to a system that will expire in another generation. Me, constant transformation. I am, that's right. The great human mistake is living in a Disney movie where there is the utopia of the happy ending. And they lived happily ever after. The system you're fighting today is made up of the people who fought the previous one, and that other system had the people who had fought the previous one, and so on. Therefore, one day others will come in the future who will fight against you, and you will say, why? If what I have done was for everyone. And perhaps you recognize at that moment that the key to evolution is flexibility and transmutation, the ability to adapt. That is why you cannot be politically correct if what you are looking for is I am, because policies change according to the context. When you understand this, you will be able to launch to collaborate in the transformations, but not fighting against the obsolete, but building future. Fighting a dilapidated building doesn't make you a savior, it makes you useless. You must look at the ruin of said building and understand that it was once useful, that it was once home to the people who had no other way of life. So, seeing it like this, you take the remains and start building. Me, but those who live in the building are fighting to defend what is left of it. What do you do with those people? Those are the people against whom many carry out their struggles, the old men who continue to defend the ruins. I am. Would you go to a nursing home to throw rocks at old curmudgeons? Me. I guess not. But they have power over the majority. I am. Oh no, never believe that. Power is not real. It is a concept and you can build it. That is called the law of manifestation. Me. And what would it be? I am. To manifest, as we have already said, comes from the Latin words manus, hands, and festare, to celebrate. That is, a party of hands. While the attraction considers that the power is outside, in the other, and I must recover it, bring it to myself, the manifestation, on the other hand, expresses its ability to create power from its center, without the need to look outside for it. Me. This is the duality that you told me today in the pyramid. Attraction versus manifestation. I am. Attraction is a horizontal movement of energy, an exchange of giving and receiving. The manifestation is a vertical movement of energy, in which the idea and matter come together to create something from scratch, without the need to look outside, but rather in the inner capacity, in the access of each one. They are seen as opposites, but in reality both form a cross that is united in the heart, which strikes the balance of all things. Humans are more used to attraction due to the give and take from mom and dad, from religion and status, from culture and family. They are conditioned on the notion that there is a punishment and reward for all things, a gain and a loss, a good and a debt. It's normal, because for thousands of years it has been like this. But from the I am, the manifestation arises, typical of magicians, alchemists. Me. So the cross, attraction, manifestation, tells us about the way in which we are creators of realities. The attraction is almost a cycle of constant gain and loss, exchange with the environment, an economic and capitalist vision, while the manifestation is the ability to generate by oneself everything that's needed. I am. Both are useful, because in order to manifest I need the energy to circulate. Thus, the attraction is functional to the manifestation system. But the manifestation system is based on responsibility, while the attraction system is based on dependency. Claim parents, state and government, for your needs or for recognition is the oldest and simplest psychology to analyze. To get out of their system, you must start manifesting and stop claiming. You will be putting the focus on the old. Making a miracle is expressing the impossible by showing others that it is possible. That is called emancipation. Me. So what would be the role of the state in a demonstrative system? I am. Maintain the unity and interconnection of the parts. Me. Taking out the paternalistic idea of it. I am. But a 6-year-old boy cannot be emancipated. Therefore, he still needs parents. The question is whether that child will be able to build his own state freely and without conditions when he grows up. Or maybe he imitates his parents, right? Me. How do you avoid imitating them? I am. Learning to be yourself. I am. Awakening the inner power of being that makes you a manifester. Stop using the law of attraction to fight between giving and receiving, between what I have and what is missing, and start manifesting it for yourself and in a network with others. There comes a time in everyone's life when they realize the limitations of their parents and must transcend them. And doing this does not mean killing their parents, but understanding that they gave what they could of themselves. Me, it's another topic that gives for a lot of conversation. I am, and I'll be here to talk. But before understanding many of these things, you must remember that if you hope to build a new life, a new system, you cannot do it from the mechanisms and methodologies that you rightly reject. You should not fight, destroy, or blame. You should build, honor, and transcend. Weaving networks has expanded more living beings in nature than those it has limited. Me. So, attraction and manifestation cannot go separately. We cannot base a civilization on the basis of giving and receiving paternalistically, but on delivering the ability for each individual to see themselves capable of manifesting their own reality. And this is achieved using the law of attraction from consciousness, resonating, turning myself into what I seek and expect from the world, manifesting it into every part of my being. I am. Hard task. But it is the only way to get out of the typical phrases, Mom, Dad, what are we going to eat? I can't find my backpack. Can I leave? I want to buy a game. When you understand the basics of each system from neutrality, you can then start building a new one. Do not give a speech without first knowing how to read or write. Me. I understand. Manifesting a new reality implies first understanding reality. I am. So, think about what you attract into your life and use this energy to manifest your new life.
My heart